Whenever you're ready.
Oh my God.
Jessica! I've never been called a fox!
Dana.
That's a classy name for a Harry.
I like it classic.
Okay.
Do you?
Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast.
Sure.
Out with the bad and in with the good, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Jessica.
Dana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. My name is Dana. Well, first I should tell people, in case you were wondering what you pressed on, this is the Rants and Raves podcast. I'm Dana.
I'm Jessica, and we are here.
We are here to rant and rave.
It's a lot to rant and rave about these days, people. A lot.
Isn't there? Isn't there? Life is, I would say, legitimately insane right now.
I would also say legitimately like a box of chocolates. Anywhere from the most delightful truffle-filled dark chocolate delight to one of those nasty-ass cordials that you unexpectedly bite into that squirts cherry juice in your mouth.
I hate those things. I hate them.
Don't you? That's why I hate a mixed box of chocolates. I don't care if it's C's, the best in the land, or anything. It's just too much of a crapshoot. I need a good old map like they used to do with Russell Stovers.
I can't believe you just said the best in the land, like you were a milk company from the 50s.
The mayor of Candyland. God, what is wrong with me?
What's wrong with all of us? I mean, things are crazy. Maybe we should tell people how to get a hold of us. We want your rants.
Mm-hmm.
We're still doing our thing, but we also want your raves because we need to feel good. Everyone needs to feel good.
Yes, we do.
Should I tell people or you want to? I feel like you're better at it.
So I'll do it. Please follow us and find us on Facebook and Instagram at the rantsandravespodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter, though neither of us are ever really there, at raves_the. You can email us directly at the rantsandravespodcast@gmail.com or go to the contact button on our website, www.therantsandravespodcast.com. Most of you DM us. It works great. We get it immediately. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to contact us, but social media is fun. Also, a lot of you have sent us some real gems that we were not aware of through stories and DMs. So, whatever works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jessica, how was your week?
You know what? It was really neat. And I will tell you something that was great that I did that you sent to me, which I'm always grateful for. I always feel bad when I tell someone, oh, I've seen that. I'm not meaning it like, I already saw that thing. Because a lot of the times I don't know about something or I haven't seen it, obviously, same as when I share something. But you sent me something that happened to be, you knew it was close to me. It was literally right in my neighborhood and on my exact rage walk route.
Yes.
And so my neighborhood in LA, I live in Studio City, and we always have this gigantic block party for the 4th of July, which happens to be my birthday.
I know.
The Canadian born on the 4th of July.
How cute is that?
So, my grandpa used to always say, my dad's father used to always call me his Liberty Bell and say the fireworks were just for me, which was very sweet.
That is the cutest thing ever.
Isn't it? And it's probably not so cute to my parents when I kept believing it the older I got. And they were like, that's enough. It's a celebration for the country.
Not just you.
Your birthday happens to just fall on that day. No, they never said that. But usually on the 4th every year, like I wake up to hearing like like what is that? John Philip Sousa? I don't know. Lots of pomp and circumstance. You know the song I'm talking about.
Thank God no one can see our cameras right now.
But I love that you know it exactly. Yes. And Dana was waving her hands like she had a mace as a drum major or something. Or a baton twirler. Didn't you twirl baton?
I did. I'm a slightly above mediocre baton twirler still to this.
No, you're good. And you gave me like a 30-second sampling in your backyard once, and I was way impressed. By the way, what do you call it? A batoner? Like, is there a proper name for that?
You mean for a drum major?
No, the drum major is the drum major and they carry the mace. Right. But what about the people who do the beautiful baton work?
Yeah, it's just a baton.
Okay. Batonist. Batonist.
You know what,
Batoner.
Jessica, I feel like I've told you this before and I'm going to say it again. You don't have to fancy everything up. Just
Batonier.
A baton. No,
stop silent it. R on the end.
You have to stop yourself.
Okay, I need to stop myself so we can hear about your week, but I will tell you guys, normally it's this huge thing. It's a block party where they shut off 4 streets. I'm always a huge fan. We all have Dana and I have extra special love for firemen because her dad was one his entire career. I've always loved firemen. I think everybody does. But our local engine company comes and brings... Is that what it's called? They bring the truck, okay? The big, huge truck.
Yeah.
They let kids go on it and all of that stuff. The firemen are out there and everybody in the neighborhood, like my street one year, it's like we were in charge of bringing chips and watermelon. Another street is in charge of the hot dogs and buns. There's a pie. It's so cute. There's a pie bake-off contest. So like can't even tell you how many pies. It's wonderful. People have tents. It's been going on for years and years and years. But for a number of reasons, and particularly COVID being one of them, it's canceled this year because it's usually tons of people gathered.
Yes, I know. I've been to it before. CBS Radford also usually does a big fireworks display for you guys. Is that going to happen?
Apparently, all fireworks are canceled from what I've looked at. Like the CBS ones, I can literally walk all of 10 steps down out of my building and they're right there and they're spectacular. Yeah. So I understand. And also, everybody's always so cool and calm and people come from all over the valley and park in our neighborhood, but everybody's awesome about it. It's great. Yeah. I think it's because people would be in too close of proximity, obviously.
Yeah.
So even better, you sent me something that people in my neighborhood got together and did, and they created a Juneteenth walk. Now, I'm pretty sure with our listeners, because y'all are pretty educated and up on what's going on in the world, Juneteenth is in celebration of the end of slavery in the state of Texas, right? Which was the last state to take that into action, if you will.
Right.
And I knew about Juneteenth because I have 2 friends who are sisters, or actually 3 sisters. The other one does not live in LA, but 2 of the sisters live in LA. One of them actually now lives in South Africa. What am I talking about? She moved. Yeah, but her sister Angela, who became one of my first friends at anthropology many, many years ago, they are so lovely. They're African American. They are from Texas originally. I was the only white woman in their book club. I was so honored to be asked. This was literally like 20 years ago. They asked me to be in their book club. I loved it. They were dear friends. Kim, the one who lives in South Africa, wrote a play that I got cast in like 8 or 9 years ago. Just incredible women. They walk the walk. They're so talented. And Angela Mayo. I'm going to post about these ladies now because I'm all about it because they're the ones who taught me about Juneteenth. But they used to have a Juneteenth party every year and I looked forward to it so much. And I really miss Kim's Coca-Cola cake from Cracker Barrel, which was kind of the star of the show. Okay.
Wow.
Oh God, it's so good. It's a chocolate cake made with Coca-Cola. It's really ridiculous. But seriously, she would cook like all week and make like gumbo and all kinds of stuff from scratch. So I digress. Juneteenth, this walk, Dana forwarded it to me and it was through my neighborhood. And there was, and I'm going to post these because I took pictures of them as I went throughout the neighborhood. It was a 3-mile walk. So you could walk up to any point or people had their kids, and it was amazing, draw arrows to follow the walk. And also there was maps put up on street signs, every few blocks, but every marker, if you will, I think there was 24 markers in total, told about a specific person. And it was so eye-opening. I mean, yes, there were some people like Alvin Ailey. Everyone's heard of the Alvin Ailey Dance Company out of New York. I knew who Alvin Ailey was. I did not know who the majority of people were that were featured on these markers or specific events, like a lot of us just recently learned about the Tulsa Massacre.
Right.
I mean, again, I think Dana and I talked about this, but I learned about that from watching the HBO series The Watchmen last year.
Right.
And
I think a lot of people did. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, even family members older than me were like, I've never heard of Juneteenth till this year.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, because we're white and that was taught to us.
Yeah, we were never taught that.
No, it's like I said before, like, I don't know what I don't know. So when I saw that, I knew that it was in your neighborhood. And to me, it looked like the Stations of the Cross, but for Juneteenth, which I thought, oh, that's so cool. What a wonderful way to teach people.
Yes. Like, I really encourage people to do that for down the road in your neighborhood or for your kid's school for a project on a number of things that we could all learn about. Okay. Or just because we know about it doesn't mean others do. It was so eye-opening. It was such a beautiful sentiment, so educational. People would distance. So like people would walk up, right? All walks of life and all ages are walking through my neighborhood. And I know people heard about it and drove over here. But when people would walk up, nobody was clamoring and crowding. Like, you know how annoyed people get at museums when someone's reading the description and they're like, well, I would walk up and sometimes, there's 3 old ladies standing there. Well, I just kept walking in place because I obviously double timed with my rage walk. And I would just wait, or I'd walk to another marker and then I'd circle back around to that. It was wonderful what people did. It got my whole neighborhood involved. Everyone had signs, all kinds of signs supporting Black Lives Matter, or that beautiful sign that I took a picture of that says, like, in this house, we believe Black Lives Matter. All people are created equal. Science is real. All of that kind of
rights matter.
Yes.
Guess who got a couple of those signs to put in her front yard? If you want one, you can have it.
Yes.
True.
I actually have a front little yard in front because my unit is the one like that faces the street.
I can
And then
make
one
that
more
happen.
thing that someone crocheted the trunks of their trees. Like one of the houses that has a huge, like 3-car garage and just a huge fence. They went all out. It was kind of like the start of the walk, and somebody crocheted, like knit, like it looked like an Afghan blanket that your mom or grandma would make. And they did that to all of the tree trunks. And I mean like a good 10 feet up at least. And it was spectacular. So really good on you, Colfax Meadows, for the Juneteenth walk. And it was awesome. And I hope there's more things like that. It was free. It was educational. And it just provided something that I think was much needed in these times.
Absolutely. It's also community building.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And a great way to take your kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's lovely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yay,
now, on to you. Sorry for my I'm not sorry for my excitement.
No,
I'll
don't
never
be
apologize
excited.
for excitement. But once you got me going, whoa, boy, you got to really... got to turn the switch to off and remove the batteries because I'm not going to stop.
Well, for me, I had a crazy week. I just want to say to our listeners, thank you so much for being patient. I know we haven't been releasing regularly as we usually would, but my life has been a little turned upside down lately. So Jessica's been very patient with me and worked with my schedule. And I thought I was going to be able to make an episode for last week, and things just got a little nuts. We always think we can do more than maybe we can sometimes. So anyway, I appreciate your patience. The big news is we had shared that my dad was having open heart surgery. And so my baby sister and my dad and I traveled to Chicago last week for his surgery. And, even leading up to that, we're still trying to tie up loose ends with the loss of my mother. There's a lot of things still going on with that, obviously. It takes time. And so we drove through the night. We got to Chicago, which, by the way, can I just shout out Chicago? Because even though the world is in such unrest right now, I really felt like the city was filled with love. Yeah. Like everyone was so kind to us. And everywhere you went, people were waving because we all have masks on. You can't see the smiles, and it just really felt like the city was coming together in love. And I really appreciated and felt that. So it was lovely. So we got there and my dad had to have a COVID test. That was an interesting experience for me. I shared with our listening audience that I had a COVID test when I got back to LA after my mom passed so that I could see my son for a couple of days. And it's not the most pleasant thing you'll ever do, but going to a hospital to do it, because I went to Exercare, I went to an urgent care place. Going to a hospital to do it is a way different experience. It felt very much like ET. There were plastic tunnels and vents, and everyone was head to toe in biohazard gear. Like, we had to have our masks on. We couldn't roll down the window till they requested. They looked at all the paperwork through the window. It was really apocalyptic, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he was negative, and so Monday was his surgery. So on Sunday, well, first of all, my middle sister was not able to be with us because she was working, and we knew that was going to be very hard for her. And so then, Saturday night, I think, I was downstairs making a phone call, and my baby sister, Tiffy, texted me and said, "We have an issue. You need to come up here. You need to come upstairs." And my dad had been feeling very poorly that day. So I was petrified. Y'all, I don't think I've run like that since I was like 18.
Oh, man.
I got to the elevator. It wasn't fast enough for me. I started to sprint up the stairs, heard the elevator ding, ran back around the corner. I go up to the hallway. There's a suitcase in the hallway. I'm like, oh, great. We're going to have to go to the hospital and call the bomb squad. I don't understand what's happening. So I burst into the room and Tiffy's standing there and she's like, we have an issue. And she points in the bathroom. And I'm like, if that girl called me up here because our toilet is clogged, I'm going to throttle her neck. So I turned and I looked in the bathroom and my middle sister, Denise, was there. And I just ripped my mask off and my whole face crumpled into my body. And I just started crying and went, oh, Denise. And we held each other and cried. So we were all together for my daddy.
I love it.
And we all three spent Father's Day with him.
So great.
It was the most amazing day. My very dear friends, the Durants, actually live in Chicago. They came in masks and sat in the hotel lobby and cheered my dad up. Oh my God, we had such a blast. Yes.
I hope he made you laugh like it's impossible for him not to.
Okay, you guys, maybe I will ask him. I don't think he'll mind. I'll ask him. But Jessica, for sure, I will send you the video of his daughter in her Princess Belle dress that she came wearing, teaching my sister and Zach Durant how to dance and do pirouettes. The cutest thing ever. It really lifted my dad's spirits. And that was after. So I just want to say I put a call out. I really did. I know I have a podcast. I'm a public figure, whatever. I'm sure everybody thinks that I'm just an open book on blast all the time. In reality, I'm not. I say I'm an introverted extrovert. But when it came to my father and wanting the positivity and love and encouragement, all that I could get to keep him in my life, I really did. I put it on blast and I said, I want to make a video for this man. He just lost his life partner. And my sisters were telling me his language was, well, I've had a good life. Things have been wonderful. And I felt like he was giving up before he even got to the fight. So I put a call out and said, if you love me, if you love my dad, if you will take the time to make a 10, 15-second video and just tell him you can do this, I would really appreciate it. The amount of videos we got, everybody did the maximum. The maximum was like from me and my sisters in like a minute each, right? Everybody else was 10, 15, 30 seconds. We ended up with a 25-minute video. People that have never met him, people from all over the world, people from London. I mean, it was just insane. And I edited together this video and it was such a compilation of encouraging, loving, happy, emotional. Like it was absolutely incredible. So he started watching it and it opened up with my sister. It had a title card and it said, Dad, there are a lot of people who want to wish you well and encourage you through this operation. So ... And then the videos started. And the first one was my baby sister, Tiffy. The second one was Denise. And then it started getting into friends and I could see his brow crinkle. And then our good friend, Mitch Silpa. came up and he goes, now, wait a minute. I know that guy. And I go, sure you do. He was in a movie with me called Bridesmaids. And he's been on a lot of things and you've met him several times. He goes, that's right. And then more people and more people.
Aww.
And I saw tears well up in his eyes. And then I start bawling like a crazy person. I mean, you made a video. So many of our friends made videos. My entire family made videos. Even the ones that didn't know how, they said, can you get somebody over here to help me?
How
you know?
cute.
And I'm telling you, I witnessed the power of love. We saw it change in his body posture, in his eyes, in his fight. The next day when he went to the hospital, I felt like he was going to fight for his life. And he did. And I'm sorry, I felt so blessed to have so many people who love me and love my family and my father, and to see the magic of love and how that alone changed the entire face of our experience.
Absolutely.
It was so precious. I mean, our friend Jamie Moyer, I sent it to Jessica because we laughed so hard.
The best thing ever.
So our friend Jamie Moyer is an actress. Look her up if you don't know her. She is so talented.
God.
She's definitely one of those people, when I walk into an audition, if I see Jamie Moyer, I go, uh-oh. She's just so talented and so precious, like the kindest person you just want to squeeze her every time you see her. And she has this raspy voice like this. And she said that she was like, Dana, I have a bit I want to do. I know you have to edit this video, but can you wait till tomorrow? I was like, of course. She made a video that's a music video of, I'm going to sing it, and I can't do it justice compared to her, but she had a puppet singing, going, Gary baby, Gary baby.
The puppet is her.
The puppet is Jamie. We lost our minds. We lost our minds. It was the sweetest, cutest, funniest thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that brought us joy and laughter in the midst of this fear. You know what I mean? We were terrified. My dad had told me on Friday, he just was getting weaker and weaker by the day. And he said, if I don't get this done quick, I'm not going to last. And so to see all of those people and those things, and for him to realize that he's not done here, and people want him here with us and with them, and they don't want anything from him besides love. You know what I mean? I think that was like, he was able to go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not done. I'm not done. He is the patriarch of our family. And I have probably 75 cousins, and they have kids. And this man has become the focal point of our family, and we need him. And so that day, Zach and Stephanie came by with the kids. It really uplifted him after seeing that video. And then we spent the day with my dad on Father's Day. And I told my girlfriend that night, we were talking, and I was telling her how amazing it was. And you know how usually you have some kind of innate sense, or at least I think I do, of how things are going to turn out. Like, oh, I feel good about this. I really had no idea. I was in such fear that I could not feel or see clearly what the future held. And also, everything's been so upturned. I just have no sense of even who I am right now. I've been saying I'm a love Hulk right now because I'm just in beast mode. Everything I do it hard, I do it fast, and I get it done because my dad needs me. So I've been saying I turn into the Hulk, but it's a love Hulk. And so I just had no sense of what was going to happen. And I said, we had the most perfect day that I'm terrified. I want it to be a sign of things to come, of our future. But part of me is afraid that it's the most amazing goodbye ever. And it scared me. And because we're in a pandemic, Denise and I were not allowed at the hospital ever. Not to drop him off, nothing. Tiffy went with him, and we chose her because she lives here and she's been involved with my parents' medical history and stuff. She was more knowledgeable, and we felt like she was the best one to go communicate. And so she spent the day at the hospital alone. My baby sister, Tiffany, is a freaking powerhouse. She's so impressive. I just adore her. And then Denise and I were together at the hotel, and we basically just stared at the walls all day. But he got done with his surgery. It took a little longer. His heart is tilted. They were able to do robotic, and it ended up being so much better for him. If you guys could see him, we're still on the road to recovery, but Jessica and I were talking in the green room dump. He looks incredible. Amazing.
Better than ever, really.
He really does.
But you wouldn't think that anything had happened with him.
No. It's insane. So we were able to bring he had surgery on Monday, heart surgery. They repaired a valve. They also checked his other valve that he had repaired. It's perfectly fine. Everything's great.
Good.
Yes. He came home to the hotel with us on Wednesday morning. They offered to let him come home on Tuesday, but said, we'd like to maybe watch you for a little longer if you're okay with it. And he was like, that's fine. But he was okay to go home to the hotel on Tuesday. And then to drive, we drove home from Chicago on Friday.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. I'm so grateful. We're taking good care of him. I'm still riding tractors and mowing the yard. I'm living, I've been in LA for 20 years and I'm back home. I'm sure you all can hear it in my voice. Like my accent comes out, I'm riding tractors, going to creeks, just living the home life right now. And it's lovely to be with my family. And I appreciate all of the love and all of the sentiment and kind thoughts and prayers that you all sent to us. It's been a crazy, crazy time. And I'm just grateful for my friends and my family. And I'm hoping for a really bright future. And I'm hoping for that for the world because things are scary right now. Things are really scary. I'm in a place, we'll get into this a little more as we get into the show, but like a lot of people are refusing to wear masks based on political beliefs. And to me, I've told you we're not a political podcast. I don't believe masks are a political thing. So I'm going to openly talk about that because it's not political. It's about saving human lives. So anyway,
just roll into your rant.
Yeah, maybe I will do that. Do you mind?
Not at all.
Okay. So our first rant is people who think they are above wearing masks. Now, I might get a little heated here. And maybe it's because I have people in my life who are ill and would not be able to survive this virus. Now, we all know that masks are not the answer to everything. They also are not the cure. Okay, but you better wear your dumb mask. Okay, is it an inconvenience to you? You have a hard time breathing. It's uncomfortable. Your face gets wet. Oh no. What if your dad died because someone didn't wear a mask? Okay, I'm wearing my mask for you, motherfucker. You wear one for me. You wear one for my dad. You wear one for our little baker who has Coffin Lowry. I never say it right. Coffin
That's
Lowry.
right.
Okay, good. You wear one for Jack Heitner, who is battling cancer for the second time at 15 years old. You fucking wear that mask. I'm so angry about it.
I know.
I do not understand that your comfortability is more important than another person's human life. That makes no sense to me. That makes you a psychopath. And even if you do believe it's political and your politics are more important than the life of a child who is ill, you are a monster. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm not going to be quiet about it anymore.
I couldn't agree more.
You are not a child. You are a grown adult. And you should know that in life, there are consequences. And the consequences of you not wearing a mask right now during a worldwide pandemic is death for other people. And I refuse to accept your stubbornness and your idiot brain that is selfish. And it's beyond comprehension to me that you can't, for the 10 to 15 minutes you're in a public place, you go into a restaurant and every worker and Dana Powell has a mask on and you don't, I'm going to tell you, you're getting a hard Powell scowl. And please say something to me because I got some stuff to get out and I would love to take it out on you, you fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but I can't even.
Normally, I'd be like, you need to take it down a notch. No, you don't.
No.
I keep saying this, and I'm not the one that coined it, but this is not a political issue. This is a morality issue.
Absolutely.
This is a matter of, am I, me, more important than everyone else? Or is everyone equally important with their health and safety and whatever? I'm going to tell you that a local restaurant that I'm pretty sure you know about here. Are you familiar with Hugo's Tacos?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Hugo's Hugo's is owned by a company, a restaurant called Hugo's, and they have like a little taco stand that's in a couple of places in town. So Hugo's has had to close. Hugo's had to post this yesterday, and it literally made lasers shoot out of my eyes. To our customers, our taco stands are exhausted by the constant conflicts over guests refusing to wear masks. Staff have been harassed, called names, and had objects and liquids thrown at them. A mask isn't symbolic of anything other than our desire to keep our staff healthy. Both of our locations are going to take a break now and recharge. We've loved serving you for the last 15 years and hope the LA community comes together on this issue so we can feel safe and reopen soon. Please stay tuned to our website and social media for reopening updates. Thank you to the majority of our guests who are always respectful and kind.
Wow.
So again, thanks to it only takes one person. It only takes one bad apple.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks to certain people who, and I have friends that have gone back to their jobs serving and as hostesses, they're scared shitless, and I totally get it. They're having to wear masks.
To a restaurant. Don't you dare go to a restaurant without a mask on where those people have to be to support themselves and have a livelihood. They don't, and then you're going to put them in danger when they're protecting you and serving you.
Or make fun of them.
How dare you?
I've had friends that have had to deal with customers' snide comments as though it's funny, as though they don't feel self-conscious enough wearing a mask and the face shield and whatever else they're having to wear where they work. I have several friends that are dealing with that right now. It is absolutely despicable. The fact that there was a story this week of a woman, somebody commented, please back up because they weren't far enough away. And the woman turned around and purposefully and forcefully coughed in the woman's baby's face.
Stroller. And then spit in the stroller, Jessica.
I would have knocked her out like Mike Tyson.
They would have.
Okay? I'm not kidding. If I had witnessed that, I would have, and I don't believe in violence ever.
No, I don't either, but I would have been in jail.
Clubbed that woman in the head.
Yeah, I would have been in jail for sure.
It's not okay. It's not okay. And if I see one more person say it's uncomfortable or this or that, why don't you go tell that? First of all, it's bullshit. Second of all, you're not supposed to be going out other than to get essentials. So you can handle that for 30 minutes while you're grocery shopping. If you don't like it, get your shit delivered. Go talk to the healthcare workers or anybody that works in a store or a grocery or a Target or a Walmart or wherever. And they're wearing those masks for 8 to 12-hour shifts.
Yes.
How dare you? How dare you?
Dare you? If you don't mind, Jessica, I do want to say there are some people coming out and saying that for medical reasons, they cannot wear a mask. Now, we'll talk about this a little more in our next rant, but I was, what's the word I would use? Accosted online.
I mean, let's roll into the next rant. They're actually slightly hand in hand.
They are. Before we get into it, what leads into it is the article that I posted, and I would like to share that if you don't mind.
Please.
So I do want to say, if you cannot wear a mask for a medical reason, I still am unclear, even by the person who sort of accosted us. Many people asked for very respectfully saying, I mean, no disrespect. Please explain to me what these situations are that you can't wear a mask or a face shield, because those they're not as sure about how protective a face shield is, but it's an option. And I also offered this person every resource and service that I have knowledge of. And if I don't, that I would find it. And unfortunately, this person did not get back to any of us and actually told me they did not need help. They also said they are advocating for some people now, and I offered to advocate for them on our show, and they also refused that. So I'm not exactly sure what the situation is. So if there are listeners out there who do have a medical condition and cannot wear masks, will you please, sincerely, I want to know why and how we can help you. I really, really want to know, because
I'm going to be a real bitch.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. No, because on this very topic, and due to this, what you're specifically talking about, the American Lung Association has come out and said that masks do not hinder your intake of oxygen whatsoever. Number one. Number two, you and I both know people that have sensory issues, that have severe asthma, that have a number of things that are managing to wear their masks. And again, not to be cruel, if you are that sick that you can't wear a mask, then you do not need to be going out for your own safety as well as everyone else's.
And this person specifically, and I'm only saying this because I am pretty positive this person does not listen to us, and I would love to have an offline conversation with this person. But I definitely feel like I even said, I would like to help you. This person said they don't have anyone to help them with errands and groceries and things like that, and they have to get out. I'm saying right now, if you are in that position, reach out to us and we will find resources for you. We absolutely will help you the best that we can. We will find people to come to you and do what you need, because this is what our world needs right now, is for us as human beings to come together and help one another. So I do want to hear from you if you are one of these people. You know, I will say specifically, my son does have some sensory issues, not bad, but he wears a mask. He doesn't go out very often. And when he has to, he wears that mask. He's 8. If you are a grown adult and you have a sensory issue, if my 8-year-old with sensory issues can handle it for 10 minutes, I think you can too. And if you can't, I'm really sorry. And let me know how I can help you, because that's what we need to do right now. Yeah. So here is the article that I posted. This is by a public health professor. His name is Brian Labus, I believe, or Labus. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. He's a public health professor at UNLV. And I would like to read you this article because there are some myths in here that he dispels. He says, let's talk about masks. I hate them. They're uncomfortable. They make it slightly harder to breathe. They aren't fun to wear when it's 105 degrees outside. But you know what? I wear mine anyway, because that's what a responsible person does. When the Las Vegas Review Journal asked me about it, I said, I'm not wearing this stupid mask for me. I'm wearing it for you. If I am infected right now and I don't know it, I can put this mask on to keep you from getting sick, and I'm going to do it. I have had it with some of you. I am completely disgusted with how people can act with absolutely no regard for the lives of others. Now, this is specifically speaking to not people with medical issues who cannot, where I'm not clear on what those issues are. But if that's the case, then this is not for you. This is for people who are saying, I will not wear a mask because I don't have to, and that is my right, and that is how I stand up to tyranny. No, I'm sorry. So let's call this what it is. Quote, masks, quit your bullshit. Myth number 1, I don't wear them because they don't protect me. The reason to wear masks is to protect the people around you. If you are asymptomatic and spreading the virus, wearing a mask decreases the risk of transmitting it to someone else. Okay? It does nothing for you. This is purely an altruistic gesture. If we all wear them, we protect each other. So when you look at me and you make fun of me or roll your eyes because I'm wearing a mask, F you, because I'm doing it for you. Because more and more as time goes by, we are seeing people that are asymptomatic spreading this. So much. I am wearing a mask because I care about you, and you aren't wearing a mask because you only care about you. I bet you don't wash your hands before you leave the bathroom or cover your mouth when you sneeze either. Your kindergarten teacher would be so very proud of you. Quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 2, there's no proof they work. There is a growing body of evidence that says they work. A study by the journal Health Affairs estimated widespread use prevented 230,000 to 450,000 cases in a 5-week period in April and May across multiple cities. Of 140 people exposed to 2 infectious hairdressers in Missouri, where I am right now, it was in my hometown, none were infected. Both hairdressers were wearing masks. Okay? Another study found reduced transmission rates in cities where masks were mandated. We don't have all the studies we wish we had, but that is the reality of the situation for now. Quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 3, the guidance on wearing masks keeps changing. No, not really. It changed one time a couple of months ago in the early days of the outbreak because, hey, spoiler alert, we've never experienced anything like this before, you ding-dongs. In the early days of the outbreak, we told people not to wear medical masks because, 1, there was a shortage of personal protective equipment in hospitals. And 2, they weren't going to protect you. That second point has not changed. They still won't protect you. See above, I'm protecting you. By using fabric face coverings, you are not competing with hospitals for protective equipment. More importantly, the situation changed, so we changed the guidance once. one time a couple of months ago. That's it. The guidance does not keep changing. Even if it does change, that isn't a bad thing. If we're not open to changing our guidance, that means that we either aren't trying to learn anything about COVID-19 or that we're ignoring it if we do. So quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 4. The World Health Organization says not to wear them. Is this the same WHO you were roundly criticizing a few weeks ago for not putting the smackdown on China? And now you want to act like they're the only people who know anything? You want to use them to support your argument now because it aligns with you? Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't. Because the WHO releases guidance for every country on Earth as a whole. That includes countries without widespread transmission and countries with widespread transmission. Where there is widespread transmission, like the United States, they recommend that governments encourage their use in settings where physical distancing of at least 1 meter is not possible, such as on public transport, in shops, or in other confined or crowded environments. So no, they do not recommend that everyone on the planet wear a mask right now. Of course they don't. A blanket guidance makes no sense, as different countries are at different levels of risk. I would add an addendum because the U.S. is being absolutely stupid. He didn't say that, Dana Powell did. But for places like the U.S., they do believe that you should wear one. So I'll say it again. Quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 5. The particles are smaller than the pores in the mask, so it can't stop them. You are claiming that the virus can go right through the mask, but oxygen can't get in and carbon dioxide can't get out, so that you shouldn't wear one because it's hard to breathe. Sure, that makes sense. SARS-CoV-2 is 500 times the size of an oxygen molecule. But sure, it can't move right through the mask and oxygen can't. Okay, quit your bullshit. Oh, wait, it's not time for that yet. He says, I have more. I have seen the analogy that the virus is so small and the mask pores are so large that it is like a mosquito flying through a chain link fence. That is an oversimplification to defend an incorrect understanding of science. First off, the viral particles don't leave your mouth at that size. They start out larger and shrink due to evaporation. Secondly, they don't come out in a nice single file line with the ability to navigate the mask. They all come out together, bang into each other, hit the mask, and so on and so on. Lots of them get caught. And that's the idea. Go sneeze on a window screen and see how much crap's left on it. It's the same idea. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're talking about risk reduction, not risk elimination. So quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 6. Masks poison us with carbon dioxide. Remember when all the medical professionals died from carbon dioxide toxicity that first day of the outbreak because they all wore masks? Oh, you don't? Huh. Yeah, me neither. You seem to be confusing wearing a porous mask with wearing a plastic bag over your face and head. So quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 7. Masks decrease oxygen intake. This is the same argument as for carbon dioxide. No, it doesn't. Low resolution images with misspelled text shared on Facebook are not scientific evidence. So quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 8. The Americans with Disabilities Act says, I don't have to. Having a disability does not mean that the mask rules do not apply to you. That's an exemption, not an accommodation. If you pose a direct threat to employees and other customers, they can refuse your entry. The whole idea behind a mask mandate is that we all pose a threat to others because of asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic disease. They can find another way to serve you, but they are not forced to simply ignore a policy that is in place to protect everyone in that facility. If you have a lung condition that puts you in the high-risk group for disease, please stay home. You are one of the people that we are trying to protect. If you are lying and using a law that was designed to protect people with disabilities from discrimination to try and get out of wearing a mask, then quit your bullshit and put on your mask. And seriously, reevaluate your life. Myth number 9? Is that what I'm on? People are only wearing masks to express their disapproval of the president. Okay. I wish.
I
That would mean that almost 60% of the population wore masks. Okay. Ignore the bullshit and put on your mask. Myth number 10 million. If masks work, we don't have to do any social distancing restrictions. If social distancing works, then there's not a need for masks. Okay, unfortunately, people who follow this line of thinking think that because neither provides perfect protection, you just shouldn't bother with either. Wow, do they miss the point? These things work together, not alone. It's like wearing a seatbelt, even if you have airbags. You don't get to pick and choose and only follow some of the safety guidelines. So quit your bullshit and put on your mask. Umpteenth millionth myth.
Oh my God.
The government can't tell me what to do. Yes, they can. Jacobson versus Massachusetts settled this 115 years ago. Listen up. As Associate Justice John Marshall Harlan wrote in the majority opinion about smallpox vaccinations mandates, there is, of course, a sphere within which the individual may assert the supremacy of his own will and rightfully dispute the authority of any human government, especially of any free government existing under a written constitution. But it is equally true that in every well-ordered society charged with the duty of conserving the safety of its members, the rights of the individual in respect of his liberty may at times, under the pressure of great dangers, may be subjected to such restraint to be enforced by reasonable regulations as the safety of the general public may demand. Okay? That was written 115 years ago in America, y'all. This virus is currently the 7th leading cause of death in the United States, and it is on pace to become the 3rd. I think that qualifies as a great danger. And the downside, you're inconvenienced. That's your stand against tyranny. You don't want to be inconvenienced. Stop acting like a petulant child who thinks they can do anything they want without consequence. Grow up, because the real world has consequences, and the consequences here could be that you kill someone. Let me be abundantly clear then. When you go out in public, quit your bullshit and put on your mask. I'm done. Now, I'm angry about it. And normally I'm not an angry person, but this infuriates me because of every point he made in this article. And thank you, sir, for that article. If you are so bad that you cannot wear a mask, if you are that unhealthy, you call a friend, you call a neighbor, you call a charity organization, and you get help, because we don't want you out. We're trying to protect you and save your life. And you need to be, if you are going to be going out, think about me. Think about everyone who is wearing a mask is doing that for you. And you are fingering their face when you go against that. They're saying, I'm doing this out of love and protection for you. And you're going, fuck you. I don't have to. And I don't want to. And I don't like you. And I don't know you. And you don't matter to me. And I'm a ding dong. That's what's happening. I'm furious about it. I don't like it. I'm worried about children. I'm worried about the elderly. I'm worried about these 20 somethings who thought they were invincible and are dying within 24 hours of getting it. And when they do an autopsy, their lungs look like they've been a smoker for 50 years. This is real. This is happening. It's not a big deal, guys. We're not asking you to put needles in your face. We're saying put a piece of cloth fabric over your goddamn mouth for 15 minutes, you assholes. I'm sorry, Jessica. I'm not usually this rude, but I feel it in my bones right now. I'm done.
I'm crying because we're about to hit an hour.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We didn't release an episode. Listen to it over 5 days, guys.
Also, I'm sure you know this because it became official today. Because of people being too good to wear masks, we have now been banned from traveling to Europe. So whether you work there or have family there, Americans are not allowed. This is the first year that my husband and I cannot go to see our family in Canada this summer.
Nobody wants us because
the level of anger I have for that is next level.
It's insanity to me. We are acting like this thing went away and it's getting worse. So I don't know where this mindset comes from. And, we are starting to do exactly what we've done with gun violence and other things because of people wanting their freedom.
They're sick of it.
Yes. And we are just going, well, I guess that's the way life is. I guess old people and sick people are just going to die. Okay, United States, that's not happening in other countries right now. They're getting a hang of it because they're dealing with it. And they don't have assholes in their government going on TV without masks while everyone behind them has them on. And they keep saying, oh, they get tested every day. I'm sorry. Since when did a test for COVID-19 prevent you from being sick? That just tells you if you've got it or not. You're not doing
that
any
day.
preventing.
Tells you if you have it that day. You can test negative right now and then tomorrow be exposed to someone and now you have it. It's not like, whoo, I don't need to get that for another 5 years. It's good.
No.
Like a colonoscopy. No.
And I'm sorry, but
not.
It is a test. It is not a preventative measure.
Correct. Thank you. It's astonishing. And you also, I will say this, you just brought up another point that had my blood boiling this weekend, watching people on the news, various governors and the vice president of this country talking about, it's like, well, did you miss the memo 3 months ago when it hit the fan and when everybody was trying to get on board and tell people what to? So I really resent and have a serious issue with the fact that the vice president of this country said to
who, by the
news
way, is
yesterday,
the head of
the people should wear a mask.
He's the head of our what's that? You guys know I'm not that smart. Of the COVID board, like for protection. He's the head of it.
Telling people if they go to Texas, they should wear a mask. And I literally screamed at the TV because, you know, that helps. And I'm sure he heard me. Then why the fuck aren't you wearing a mask? And that is part of the problem. The people who are telling, well, first of all, we've had no sign of anything where it's a blanketed thing like other countries where it's like, hey, this is not a negotiation. This is how it is. Like in Italy, if you were caught leaving your house, first of all, nowhere was open other than essentials. Okay. Nowhere. It wasn't even on the table. If you were not leaving to get groceries and you could only do it at certain times, you couldn't go out every day because you felt like getting something fancy or whatever, you would be fined. Action would be taken against you. They would arrest people. It's not a joke, but we have never once had one voice coming down saying, this is how it is going to be, because if not, this is going to be a complete catastrophe for the entire country.
Oh my God.
And now look where we are.
There's already predictions. Like we are headed towards apocalyptic levels of death. And that's what I don't understand. The miracle cure for this to help people not get it has been discovered. It's a help. It's not going to prevent it. But you know what that miracle is? A GD face mask.
But also, you know what else? I'll say one more thing about this, because this is also very upsetting to me. Unless everyone's wearing it, it doesn't work. So say we have a room with 50 people and 49 of us are wearing masks. If one asshole isn't wearing a mask and is sick, now all 49 people can get it because their droplets can adhere to the mask since it wasn't caught in their own because they weren't wearing one. And now you're breathing that in. That's to me the scariest part of all this. Because at one point I thought, well, let people be assholes, even though I'm not that much of a creep and I actually do care about healthcare workers having to deal with this shit show.
That's what upsets me too.
It's not as simple as just being like, well, let them die. It's like, no, fool. Now they're going to keep just spreading it. It's a vicious cycle.
Yes, absolutely. It's not a matter of you let me do what I want. And if I die, that's my problem. No, you are not. You're affecting others. You are putting others at risk. I don't know if you think it doesn't look cool. I don't know if it's a political stand for you. I don't know if it's just an inconvenience. None of those excuses are good enough.
It's all of it for people who don't.
Yeah, this is a worldwide catastrophe. We have to band together for each other to survive as the human race, or we are going to become a very small part of our earth. It's shocking to me, the level of I don't really care and this doesn't affect me. Because I'll tell you what, the first family member of yours that dies, you're going to think way different. Is it really worth learning that hard lesson to care about other people? Does something have to devastate your life before you can just say, all right, fine, just in case it works, I'll do it. Is that what it takes for you? Something to devastate your life before you care about anyone else in the world? Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm sorry.
I
Shame
think
on you.
that's part of the problem with a lot of things is people say, well, I mean, yeah, that's sad, but I don't have to worry about that or it doesn't affect me. And that is the most selfish way to behave in a society. Okay. Nobody lives in a damn bubble. And it's like, well, I just have to worry about me and my family if I have one and my few friends and whatever. No, that's not how life works.
No.
That's not how a society works.
We are animals living in the wild. We are human, sentient beings with compassion for one another. Quit your bullshit and put on your mask. It's just, it blows my mind. I know I've talked for an hour about it, but, I'm really sensitive to it because you and I both have people who are very, very weak in our lives that we care about very much, who don't have to die and catch this.
Correct.
It's just a matter of people being a human, compassionate person that does what we as a society are trying to agree is best for everyone. Get on board, you ding dong, because when you need help, are you going to be able to say, I did my best for others and now can you help me? Or are you going to have to say, I know I'm a dick, but can you find it in your kind heart to help me out now when I didn't want to help anyone else? Shame on you. Shame on you. And I keep saying, I'm sorry for yelling and being crazy about it, but I'm not sorry for how I feel.
No.
I'm not. And if you are a person, like I said, someone was very upset with me and it caused a big deal on my social media. I'm here to tell you, if you have a medical reason why you cannot, I want to know why, because I want to understand, and I cannot seem to get those answers. Nobody could get those answers.
Because there aren't those answers. Okay.
And if you are that ill and you can't get out, send us a message. I don't care where you live. I will do the research and I will find someone to help you. And I'm not joking. And I told this person who did come at me, I said, this person actually had never liked or commented anything I have ever posted before. Anything. Not my child, not my cat, not my dog, nothing. Okay. And I asked this person to take the discussion offline, that I'd be happy to help. That was not wanted. But they did say, can you add a caveat? Which I happily did. And the person did say thank you. But if you are out there and you know the reasons, please let us know so that we can educate others. Okay. And we can find answers for you, because this isn't a black or white thing. Let's find the reasons and then find the ways that we can make it better. Okay? That's what I want to know. If you are out there and you are mad at me for spitting vitriol about the people I love and protecting other humans, then explain to me what is going on with you and how I can help, because most of my life is dedicated to loving and helping others. That's why we created this podcast. And this person was advocating for two people. I don't care if you're advocating for one. I don't care if you're advocating for a kitten. We have a podcast that specializes in bringing to the forefront charity organizations and people and movements that don't have money behind them and don't have celebrity voices. That is what we want to promote. So hit us up, guys. Hit us up. I want to help you. I will find ways. And people, I've always told you, I may be a dum-dum, but man, I know a lot of smart people and I know a lot of people that will have the answers. So please come at me. I don't even care if you're mad. Come at me. I want to help. I love people. I love humans, but I will smack you silly if you don't put on your mask. Jessica, do you have to go to work? I'm sorry. We haven't even gotten to your rant.
I'm really crying. We didn't get to my rant last time either.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Jessica. It gets me. It's like my skin is hot right now.
I know.
Skin is hot.
Excuse me. We could talk about this issue alone for the next 3 hours. I'm serious.
It's just so in my face right now because of where I am.
Of course.
And because we have nurses in our lives that we love. I have family that are nurses.
Yes.
Our wonderful, beautiful friend Ashley is a nurse. These people, these waiters.
COVID nurse.
Exactly.
I hate calling her that. I mean, she's not just a nurse.
That's what she is.
She works in the COVID unit.
COVID unit. And you know what? These people have dedicated their lives to saving people, and you're going out there taking risks that they didn't sign up for. They didn't sign up for that, for you to be an idiot.
Also, she will probably be mortified that I will say this. I hope it's not too personal, but she became a nurse practitioner, like officially, and finished school. She never got to have a graduate. I know many people didn't, okay, but she's one of the many who deserved it, right? She has not even been able to move into what she just spent years in school for because she has been working nonstop in a COVID unit. And God bless her and her team and everyone else who has done that. I don't think people get it. And she doesn't say it. I just know it because I know the hours she works. She has never once talked about it. She doesn't complain about it. But I know that lady has worked sometimes for 2 weeks without a day off because so many people got sick at her hospital and they were that low staffed.
Absolutely. And she is not married and has to isolate from everyone in her life. You know, she doesn't have anyone or anything because people are getting too sick. And also, I just want to bring it. I know I'm on a tirade. I'm sorry. I also want to bring this up because it's the truth. If you are out there taking risks and getting sick, you are taking a bed in the ICU that my father needed to stay alive when he had surgery. I also have a very good friend named Danny who had to get a pacemaker last week. Had to, because they had to postpone his surgery 3 times because there were not enough hospital beds available because of COVID patients.
Right.
So all you people out there taking risks, you should have to sign a waiver that you will give up your hospital bed to someone who has a life-threatening illness because you took a risk and they didn't. They're just sick. You are taking from them because you're a Yahoo that wants your gorgeous face to be seen when you scowl at everybody wearing masks.
Well, here's a point back to our friend who is a nurse, to the person that was what I would call gaslighting you on social media. Our friend has her groceries delivered. You want to know why? Because even though she doesn't have it, knock on wood, 1,000 times, she said, I have to behave as though I do because of her exposure every day. So she is isolated at home after working her ass off, nonstop, exhausting, dangerous work day in and day out, is completely isolated like somebody in solitary confinement. Why? Because she gives a shit about other people. That's part of, I'm sure, why she became a nurse and furthered her career to go even further with that. So I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm going to be like the bitch about that. There is no excuse. Again, people that have, if you really can't wear a mask, then you cannot go out right now. End of story. End of story. You can't. It's not an option.
And you have errands to run or you need groceries or whatever, and you can't afford to have that done. I'll start a GoFundMe for you. You give me your name and your information and I'll put it out there. If that is really true, because if it's not, and you ask for resources that you don't need, shame on you. So you better think about it before you start saying, I can't, I won't, I don't.
Totally. Okay.
Maybe
so
you're right. I do feel like I got gaslighted a bit, and perhaps that's why I got so
100%,
upset.
and rightfully so. And I don't use that term lightly. And before I even said it, I was like, I'm going to make sure for the 100th time that I know exactly what it means. I do. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. And to your credit, you could not have been nicer. Now, I wasn't mad at you for being nice. I love you for that. I was so angry. Even though it had nothing to do with me, I was enraged because I thought, how dare you? My friend, who is one of the kindest, most giving and generous people, is offering your ridiculous victim playing, gaslighting self nothing but courtesy and offering help, only to be met with more crap to continue the same. It's like the person who makes you feel like you're going crazy. Like, what do you mean I'm cheating? I'm not. Like, people that make people insane and keep lying to them or keep diverting a conversation back in circles until you feel like you're going insane. That's exactly what was happening. So to refuse help, to refuse to cite things other than whatever she was making up on her own and nothing really with any kind of backing to back that up, I can't deal with it.
Well,
so I also will apologize to you publicly. I tried to keep myself from commenting, and I waited like 18 hours. I couldn't even make it 24. And I was like, nope, I got to say it. And then I told a friend of ours, I only feel bad. I don't feel bad for what I said to that woman, because I had the thought where I'm like, well, I should go back and delete it. I'm like, well, then that makes me look like some kind of charlatan. It's somebody's already screenshot it by now. And I'm real careful about what I say. I mean what I say, or I'm not going to put it out to the public. That's for sure. I said, I do not feel at all bad what I said to that woman. I was not rude. I didn't name call, anything like that. I feel bad that I continued that BS on Dana's page. That is the only thing I have guilt for. So to you, I apologize.
Well,
I do not apologize to the person I wrote it to.
No apology necessary. But I will be honest, Jessica, since that happened, I have not been back on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that means that I can't share my experiences with my family. And it's because I needed a break, because here I was. This was reaching out of love, saying, please stop being stupid. Please, yes. I am begging you. And also specifically, the article says this is for people who are doing it who are not wearing masks because they're inconvenienced. It mentions nothing about politics. It mentions nothing about people who medically are not able to. It was not in reference to this person or people with medical issues. So this person picked a battle off of something that wasn't even regarding them. And it really upset me. And I am very willing to admit right now, I am not very stable. I am in a very difficult time in my life. I still have not gotten to mourn my mama. None of my family has, because we had to rush into a life-threatening surgery for my father. So I haven't even been able to grieve yet. And I couldn't handle it, and I haven't been back on. So whatever you said, Jessica, I haven't seen it anyway. But I appreciate the people who did come to my defense and say Dana is a kind person and would never mean to insult anyone.
Anyone knows that. I mean, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Anyone that knows you knows that, for whatever that's worth, and I hope it's worth a lot for your own sanity right now. There's not a person out there that would be like, well, boy, look at what... And again, you couldn't have been nicer. That's why I turned into Hulk Smash. I'm like, you couldn't have been nicer. And you also had every right to be like, buzz off. This is my page. Get out of here.
Dan Tipton. Okay, so we all know that Dan Tipton is like the nicest guy ever. I always say the quickest way to make me mad is to insult Dan Tipton or my family. Like, I'll go from 0 to 60. Dan Tipton was so livid. He texted me and he was like, how dare she browbeat you? You are the kindest, most loving. Like, he was so angry.
Yes. Totally.
It just, I'm not in a place where I could handle it right now. Generally speaking, I think I'm pretty thick skinned. I think you kind of have to be in our profession. But right now my skin's pretty thin. So, it didn't.
You don't need to have it.
It didn't stop me from just screaming for an hour and 13 minutes about wearing masks. But
stop it. No, it makes, you know what? It makes me even more upset too, for somebody to do, again, it's not necessary in any circumstance, but to do that, given what's going on in your life, and it really is applicable. I'm going to make my bit very, very short about this. It was about being trolled, if you will, by people online.
We're moving into our second rant here.
But because I'm telling you, it's ironic, because I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about the mask thing, which is what this person commented to you about. But I felt like that person was trolling you by doing that, gaslighting, just like I am being trolled. I have a second troll now. I can't even go there. It's too painful. The second one is not as psychotic. It's just, I can't believe it. I told the second troll to please, I am going to just talk in circles here. Let me not get ahead of myself. Okay. What that person did to you, and you already mentioned this, someone who does not engage with you whatsoever. No, it always blows me away on social media. There are people also who have never, ever liked something I've written about that's been very serious, that's been painful, that's been a number of things. But if it's a picture where they think I look gorgeous, I guess, for the first time in my life, they'll comment on that. Okay. Nothing else but to tell me how beautiful I look when I've had professional hair and makeup done. Right. By the way, that's not trolling. It just makes me laugh. It's like, oh, now that I look acceptable to you, you feel the need to reach out and let me know that I look pretty. Okay.
It's like when I lost all that weight years ago and someone that we knew came up to me and said, "You look so amazing," and then didn't know I was married and paused and said, "We should definitely go out sometime." And I was like, "Is this a joke? Do you think for 1 second that if I wasn't good enough for you as a human being when I was heavier, that I would ever probably even want to speak to you again after this?"
I know. And I know that gross person who has resurfaced on both of our pages lately,
I know.
okay? Oh boy, oh boy.
Because we're both losing pandemic weight. We're both getting pandemic skinny. Oh, gotta get back in there. Gotta get back in with those girls. They look good because we're all sick. Dana looks awesome. Her mama died and her daddy was real sick and she looks good. What a jerk.
So gross and not okay.
Not okay.
But the fact of the matter is, and you've also experienced this at various times, as have I, about different issues. I always want to know, what is it in this person's life, or what is lacking as I try to evolve more the older I get. As somebody I know very well used to always say this to me, like, "God, you let this shit bother you." I have pity for those people. I'm like, "Well, I guess you're a bigger person than me." And they're like, "No, really." They're like, "You need to think about how miserable or unfulfilled or depressed or abused or traumatized or whatever this person is, that this is all that they have, is to strike out against you or to say those comments to so and so or whatever. Who cares? Why are you letting that affect your energy and the way you feel?" And it used to make me burn my ass when they'd say that. But then I'm like, shit, you know what? They're really right. But I'm going through that again recently because I have somebody who is not a close friend. So that's the good news of this story. Right. But they're too close for comfort for a number of issues. I'm not going to get into it right now. I don't feel like it. I don't even feel like giving them I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to name names here, but they are close to me in proximity where they should not dare be doing this to me. In general, they shouldn't be doing it to anyone, but because of how we know each other. Okay. We do have a very deep connection. Yeah. Anyways, this is back to my point of what you said. This person has never reached out to me of all the years that we've been, quote, friends on social media. Never to say, "How are you doing? How's California treating you? How's your family? How about just a hello?" Nothing. If I make a comment, and we have very different political beliefs, me and this person, but to me, again, it's not just politics, because newsflash, people, everything for me is not this or that. But you know what? When it comes down to morality, moral issues, racism, people's health and safety, it is black and white for me. There's no gray area. Okay. And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Dana, but I think we're on the same page here. I'm not a maniac. I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm not an extremist. But when it comes to what
I also don't push my beliefs on other people unless it is moral.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Also, I'm allowed, just like this person is, to say whatever I want. Just like you were. You didn't say, "And if you don't like this, then you're an idiot," which is still your right, but you would never do that.
I did today on the show, but I didn't on social media.
Good. I mean, I'm screaming. I hope every neighbor in my building hears me today, okay? Especially the neighbor that wipes everything down and leaves her filthy wipes on top of our mailboxes. The most inconsiderate thing you've ever seen. I had an idea to get one of those pinchers and pick them all up and put them in a bag and hang them on her door.
You absolutely should. I think that's
okay.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. But again, I mean, this is good because today, I mean, I'm not laughing in the way that I think it's hilarious. I'm just fired up. I mean, we both are, and with good reason. The last time we talked about it, I was hysterically crying. Yeah. But again, for somebody to go out of their way to keep sending, and it's not just like sending me stuff that is a different viewpoint, which I'm open to. Right. The things that they have sent me are so vile and so disgusting, and it's not okay. All right. I don't get that easily upset, but if you saw, and I would never share it with anyone because it's too disgusting, a particular video that this person sent to me that is nothing but hate, but racism, but disgusting backwoods redneck bullshit. Okay. It's no mistaking it. I'm not putting words there to try to be funny. It is unacceptable. I have refused to comment back because I many times almost opened Pandora's box. I've decided to take pause and not. I've continued to screenshot whatever they've sent me in case I need that in the future, but this person will not stop. And now I had another person who can't deal with the fact that they know that I don't agree with them politically, and they keep sending me stuff. Now, this is somebody that I love. On the flip side, this is someone that I love dearly. Okay. Dearly. And I wrote to them, I said, I adore you. You are family to me. They're not, but I mean, this is somebody who is like family. And I said, I will talk with you about anything and discuss any issue in the world, but please do not dare ever send me videos from blah, 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 the person that the video came from ever again. And they wrote back, okay, I love you too, but that's too bad. And and then went on a thing about how I don't see how this country is going to hell and la, la, la. So
I do believe me.
That's the way I feel. And it kills me because, Dana, I am not ever going on their pages. Yes. I am not writing. I'm steaming when I see stuff they post. I know better. I'm like, I'm not going to change their mind. Ooh, I'm going to have to stay out of this, or I'm going to open up a 50 reply thread, and I don't. And they just can't stop. It's like they're digging in their heels. I don't know if they think they're going to change my mind. I don't know if they think they're going to break me.
Reaction. Yeah. I think they want a reaction so they can go,
and I refuse.
Crazy. Yeah. And also I want to say, because you're too kind to say it, your first troll also was harassing you, on the daily, but also on a day that is very painful for you in your life.
Yes.
And this person knew that. This person had the relationship they share with you is connected to that day. And it was so unkind and hurtful. It just blows my mind that anyone could do that even to someone they hated.
Yeah. And I've done nothing to this person. No. Literally nothing.
And it's like, people get mad when you post things. And my argument for that is I don't do it all the time, but I do have the freedom to do it if I want to, because it's my page, not your page. And if you don't like my comments or my beliefs or what I post, then unfollow me. But I don't go to your page and argue on you. That was one of the things Dan Tipton said about this person coming after me. He said, why did she think she had the right to hijack your social media page?
Yes. But that's another huge part of it. Yes. Go spit whatever you want on your own page. Do it all day long. People can choose to follow you, unfollow you, block you, comment or not comment. It is a free country. It is a free platform. So you have to be prepared for that. But I didn't ask for that. And another thing that has killed me over the years is when I have posted stuff about guns. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go on that tip.
Right. But you and I feel the same. Yeah.
Yes. And it was during a week where not once, but twice in 1 week, there was shootings on my street at my former job. When I tell you that I got a call from another business owner that said, lock the door immediately with your customers inside. There's an active shooter. The worst thing anyone ever pictures getting a call about. It happened twice in a week on my street. Yeah. Okay. And all I said was, my comment was something very short. And again, I could have said whatever the hell I want, but I said, tell me again how we don't need gun reform.
I know.
I didn't say ban all guns. I didn't say people have guns are idiot. I didn't say anything. I said, we need gun reform, period. And this person not only lit up my page, but had the audacity to disrespect people that were my teachers, that are mentors to me.
That's me too. This person also started fights with people that I love dearly. Yep. And they didn't ask for that. And they just wanted to say, hey, Dana is a loving person. Please be aware of how you're being perceived. And that was actually stated on my wall. You need to be aware of how you're perceived. If that was not your intention, then you need to take stock, because
100%.
It seems very aggressive and ugly. And we love her. and don't do that. But that's the thing too. It's like, I know we all have rights and we all have our opinions, and I firmly believe in that. I am an American. I understand what freedom is. I think, I've said before, another thing that I'm very vocal about, get out and vote, you guys. To me,
Yes.
even when politics haven't been as oppressive in how the effects will be in the past, I've always said there are people who have fought and lost their lives to give us the right to vote, and their families sacrifice time with them and sometimes their lives too. And if you don't use that right that they fought for you to have, shame on you.
Totally.
Shame. I say the same thing
I'll
about
tell you,
if you have medical insurance and you don't go to the doctor, shame on you, because there are a lot of people who don't have access to that and they need to go to the doctor. So go get your dang physical. I get real hard nose about things like that.
Of course. It's too much. On a positive note, I will say that the company I work for, one of my jobs, they were trying to think of something they could do to honor the movement that's going on right now, and how could we do something and help. And they are giving us all election day off and paid so that everybody can go and vote.
That's
and
wonderful.
I think that's huge. I think it should be everywhere, but it's not. I don't know. I've never heard of anyone paying people to have the day out, or they say, oh, go before or after work. Well, I don't know about you. I've tried it and spent hours in line. So do you want people to be late for work or not be able to pick up their kids or whatever? So kudos to one of the companies I work for. I think it's amazing that they're doing that, because they really want, politics are a big no-no to be discussed at work for obvious reasons, but they keep begging people. They're like, please empower yourself. Please go vote. We are giving you the day off paid so that you can vote. Please do it.
Yeah, it's really important.
Right?
I guess we're digressing, but to get back to
it's fine.
We all have different beliefs. I understand that and I respect that, but there are some beliefs that become moral. And right now, the health of human lives, the preservation of human lives is more important than your own attitude of what I have the freedom to walk into your house and scream fuck really loud if I want to, but guess what? I don't, because as a society, we've agreed upon certain modes of behavior and to try and be respectful of other people. Maybe they have children, maybe they have religious beliefs that they don't like that language. I ain't gonna go in your house and scream fuck, but it sure is my right. Well, I'm a better person than that.
Exactly.
I know what my rights are, and I know how to be respectful and kind and considerate of other humans, because as a society, that's what we try to do. So don't go on other people's walls and gaslight them or try and start a fight over something that doesn't even it's not intended for you. And if you see other people doing that, I don't know what the answer is, Jessica, because so many times I do want to get involved and I do want to defend my friends. And you're right. It just starts becoming out of control. So I don't know the answer to how to deal with that. And I'm sorry that this is happening to you. And especially considering that at least for one of the situations, it's very deeply emotionally hurtful.
Yes.
And without cause or reason. It kind of came out of the blue, and it's unfortunate. And I'm sorry, Jessica. I really am.
Thank you. Yeah. Again, it's always the times where it's happened with me. It's come from people and look, there's not like people like, oh, I have beef with all these people. I don't. This is the last thing I'll say about this, but I again find it unreal that it's coming from people that I don't have any beef with. And then as I say that, I'm like, well, I don't have beef with anyone. If I don't care for someone, I don't have them be part of my inner circle. I'm still not an asshole. And even people that I can't stand, I'm not fake. I'm not going to chat with you with a smile on my face and act like I want to see you again. But I have the respect for you as a human being to look you in the eye and to acknowledge your presence. And at the very least, say hello to you when I see you. That's it. Okay. And that's so few people that I've really ever had to do that with in the span of my entire life. I mean that. I feel fortunate in that way. Most people that aren't in my life, it's because time and distance. That's it. It's not because anything happened. So it blows me away that people feel the need to do this with me or with anyone in general. I don't know what it's gaining them. If it makes you feel good, I feel real sorry for you that that's where the joy in your life is coming from trying to put other people down or try to bring them down or make them feel like shit. because that never makes me feel good. But I also don't do that to people, and I don't seek doing that out. I'm the kind of person that gets so angry and I'm like, know what? I'm gonna, and then I never do. I get livid about a bad experience at a business. I'm like, I'm going to Yelp them. No, I don't. I just choose to never go back there again. Okay. If it was a safety issue, yeah, I'd let people know like, hey, you need to never go to Quickie Mart because they have an F rating and there was a rat that crawled across my foot when I walked in. Then I think I might be vocal about it.
Wait a minute. Is that a true story?
No. And there's nothing called the Quickie Mart. I mean, I wish there was.
I got so scared. I feel like there is a Quickie Mart. I feel like there is.
There probably is. KWIK hyphen capital E.
Well, if there isn't, we have a new business.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
Literally, I'm like sweating right now.
No, I know. So am I. And I have a splitting headache, but that's not because of you. That's just because I've got my blood boiling about all these creeps.
Me too. But I will say, I think when our blood boils, it's like love boil. Mm-hmm. I wish no ill or harm on any other human ever. And that's genuine. I really mean that.
I agree. Same.
I mean, unless you hurt someone I love, and then I probably, unfortunately, a character flaw would be that I want to murder you. But other than that, I'm generally pretty easygoing and loving.
Indeed.
So I hope that this episode is not making everyone else angry. But unfortunately, I think we're in a time where we do have to get angry because people are not listening. And if you're not heard, you have, to do something over and over again and expect a different result is insanity. And I am feeling insane and I have to change my tactics. And so I just spent an hour and a half yelling about it. So I guess that's my new tactic. As Jessica rolls her glass of water around her face to cool off.
It's because it's so hot here. I got all excited. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a high of 72 today. My foot. Okay, I don't know what it is outside, but it's real hot on the second floor of my apartment. I'll tell you that one.
In Missouri, it is very, very hot and muggy, and therefore everyone in their houses keeps it 62 degrees. So it's so boiling hot outside, and then I have to come in and wear a snowsuit in my dad's house because it's so cold.
That sounds like heaven to me.
Okay, are we going to go ahead and roll into our other stuff?
Do it.
All right.
Hey, the corners are hilarious.
They are. You guys are in for it.
I mean, maybe you don't think they're hilarious, but they sure are a lot lighter.
They're a lot
lighter. Put a smile on your face.
It will make you smile. And I'm going to start us off with, are you ready for this title?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And I want to shout out Jessica again. Jessica again put together our outline. I couldn't be more grateful. You're such a gem and you're so helpful to me. And I just adore you. And Jessica found the perfect corner for me. What should we call this corner?
Animal Instincts.
Animal Instincts corner. Rawr. That's what I'm calling it. Man finds caterpillars in supermarket broccoli and raises them as his own. I mean, immediately.
Man or Dana Powell.
Right? Exactly. I would do this. Guess who this article is by? This is from Weird News on HuffPost. This is a David Moye article.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite. That's another reason I found it. I'm like, well, this is Kismet. It's could be Dana, and it's from her favorite author. Next to Spooky, of course.
Okay, here we go. Most people would be bugged to find a caterpillar. There we go. That's a Moye. Most people would be bugged to find a caterpillar in their supermarket broccoli. All right, Moye, classic Moye, but not Sam Darliston, who, by the way, is just the cutest little British boy. He's not a little boy. I'm just old. Anyway, instead, the British media personality decided to raise it to maturity, and 6 others he also found among the broccoli.
Oh my
Darliston,
God.
a host on Kiss FM UK and a vegetarian, discovered the first caterpillar back on June 11th when he started to prepare his favorite vegetable purchased from his local Tesco supermarket. Darliston was shocked at first, but that feeling soon turned to joy when he realized he had a new pet to enjoy during lockdown in his London home. Quote, I did my research initially and discovered the exact type of caterpillar/butterfly we were dealing with, a cabbage white, he told HuffPost. I then decided to build him a little home in my lounge with all the broccoli he wanted. He gave his new companion the name of Cedric. Tesco supermarket refunded him the $1.37 US for the cost of the caterpillar infested broccoli. He used that money to purchase more veggies and unexpectedly got more caterpillars. Quote, the broccoli I had got as a replacement contained 5 more. And then a third broccoli belonging to a housemate had another one. So one became 7 caterpillars overnight. There's all kinds of posts. We're going to have to put a link to this because it's so cute. He literally kept everyone updated on Twitter. He is such a doll. He's at @SamD_official. @SamD_official. It's the cutest. He decided to keep them all. I'm a firm believer in not harming any animals or insects if possible. Thank you, sir. And I just sort of knew what I had to do after Googling how to keep a caterpillar, he said. Darliston named the other members of his buggy brood Brock, Ollie, Carlos, Croc, Janine, and Slim Eric. Along the way, he has faced challenges, especially when they started evolving toward their mature state. The biggest challenge I faced while raising the caterpillars was their love of escaping, especially when they were about to cocoon. One day, we found one on an ornamental vanilla stick, one under a table and one under a candle holder cocooning. They had broke free from the paper lid. Darliston also got to see his caterpillar family start to hook up with each other. He also witnessed them going into the cocoon stage.
Oh my.
His parents had a hard time accepting his new family. He said, my mum won't eat her Sunday roast for fear of caterpillars. Still, Darliston learned to enjoy the simple pleasures of parenthood. So he started loving these caterpillars. It's so cute. He also became melancholy when he realized that they were growing up. Quote, final update of the day, guys. We've now got 3 cocoon chrysalis. They grow up so fast. Cry face emoji. Last week, 6 of his 7 caterpillars had gone into the cocooning stage. That necessitated some family photos. So he took pictures. I got him to pose for a picture with his brother Ollie so we could see the difference between caterpillar and cocoon. Darliston said his oldest child, Cedric, finally emerged as a butterfly this past weekend. Eventually, it was time for the older ones to move out. I felt a tiny bit sad watching them spread their wings, but overall, the feeling was happiness. I'm just happy at least one of us gets to go out during these times. Still, the experience made Darliston hopeful that he'll find more creatures in his, oh boy, cruciferous?
Cruciferous.
That word. How am I an old woman and I don't know that word?
Oh my God. Cruciferous. There's a bag of salad I buy from Trader Joe's called Cruciferous Crunch. It's Brussels sprouts, kale, and cabbage and broccoli.
That's like 700 no's for me.
Cruciferous. Oh my God, you just made my day. You made my day. I love you so much.
Darliston said, if I find more, I'd 100% do it all again. It's just the cutest. I watched the video. He got sad because he wrote, I thought she would at least pause to say goodbye. So he had a butterfly in his hands and he opened his hands and she just flew off and he goes, oh, bye, Janine.
Aww.
It was so cute.
I think it's so cute. And I really said this and I mean it. I picture that is something that you would do with your little guy. I could totally see you doing it.
I totally would. Are you kidding me? It would make me so happy. And also give me an excuse not to eat the broccoli.
You'd have to make sure. You'd have to make sure that Murphy didn't eat them.
I know. Murphy would love them. The circle of life.
Oh, man. No, I really do love it. And I love that we got to see his little butterflies, moths, whatever they were, fly away. Because
I know, it's so cute.
I've had friends that have brought in hanging unknown cocoons, and I have freaked the hell out. And I'm like, you do not know what's in there. They're like, what do you think is in there, Jessica? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to know.
You're so funny. I'd be like, what is it?
Because they'd bring them in the house and put them in like some kind of pot or dish. And then I'm like, oh, I just picture the spawning of something. And I'm just like, leave it outside. Let it be.
Here.
Hilarious.
Oh, boy. I would raise broccoli caterpillars for sure. And then I would cry when they flew away.
Oh.
And I wouldn't eat the broccoli.
Those monarchs can make it from the Pacific Northwest to Mexico. I'm never going to not be mesmerized and marvel at that miracle.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't get it. They're so delicate. How do they even last going to another city, let alone how many thousands of miles? I don't get it.
I know. The magic of our world. So let's save it.
Crazy.
Okay. What did you bring? Before I get on another soapbox.
This is from The Mirror in the UK. From Luke Matthews. Mum, you know those Brits, M-U-M.
Yes.
Mum left mortified after photo of science experiment is mistaken for sex toys.
A dildo.
It's now more than 3 months since schools were forced to close their doors due to the coronavirus pandemic. As time drags on, parents who are quickly trying to learn how to become teachers are having to get more creative with their homeschooling lessons. One inventive mom conducted a science experiment for her little ones to create, quote, elephant toothpaste, only to be left shocked at the reaction of social media users who mistook the results for X-rated sex toys. First of all, what in the hell is elephant toothpaste?
I don't know. Is that a British thing?
I don't know. I've never heard of it. I don't know if it's obviously a nickname for something else. I don't know. Mom of two, Emma Holmes, set her children, Harry, 9, and Isabel, 7, the task of causing a reaction using hydrogen peroxide, yeast, and warm water. The concoction then foams out of 2 empty bottles resembling toothpaste being squeezed out of a tube big enough for an elephant. Totally weird.
That's why it's called elephant toothpaste?
Don't get it.
Okay.
At all.
We're not British, though, so that's probably why.
So there's a picture right after the experiment happened. And it says, Emma says she never spotted the resemblance, but now can't unsee it. Proud of the results. It's not possible.
I mean,
it says,
I looked at it earlier, but can you show it to me again on screen? Because I feel like I want to describe to people how
it clearly straight up looks like dildos.
It straight looks like a suction cup dildo.
We will be posting this pic.
Oh, okay? Yeah. It has a shaft. It has a head. It looks like a pink suction cup dildo dong. And I don't know how she could not see that. Like, have you never seen a dong in your life? Have you never seen a dildo in your life? How could you not immediately look at that and go, penis?
Well, that's how most people felt when they saw it. Proud of her results of her homemade science experiment, she shared a picture to Twitter with the caption, Garden Science Lessons. The post attracted a lot of attention.
Flower into your garden.
For all the wrong reasons, gaining more than 10,000 retweets as other users pointed out the resemblance to a phallic sex toy. One reply said, sorry, but I saw dildos in the garden, while another commented, I need my eyes tested. Another added, so many folks on here have spent 3 months looking at the wrong kind of websites. Naughty people. When one cheekily asked what Emma had used to make it explode, she saw the funny side and replied, 2 tablespoons warm water, 1 tablespoon yeast, food coloring, hydrogen peroxide, either 3% or 6% dish soap. What? Empty plastic bottle. Boom. Homemade dildo-looking mess.
Oh, well, she went with it after somebody told her. She really went with it. I thought she was going to say, and 2 warm hands.
Oh my God. That's what yes. Like some kind of button to this.
Uh-huh.
Dana, it has garnered 6 million views on Twitter. Okay. We're lucky if we get 3.
Yes.
Maybe we need to start making some garden
Dildos.
experiments.
Some garden dildos. I wonder if our show,
my God.
maybe we'd be super popular and get to go on tour if we start making garden dildos. R&R garden dildos.
Oh my God. The best part is this lady showed it to her father and he said, "Come on, Emma, how did you not see it?"
Thank you. That's what I thought. I mean, bless her heart.
You know what? She is a Puritan and that is okay.
That's okay. Yes. And now she's learned what the shape of a dildo is.
So out of control.
So funny.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you, Mirror. And thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Emma, for giving us a giggle during these crazy times.
Okay.
And someday you and your child can laugh about it.
Exactly.
Okay, are we ready to move into our raves finally?
I think we are.
Oh, after 4 hours. Okay, so my rave this week is GLSEN, and I want to tell you a little bit about them. They are creating a better world for LGBTQ students. As GLSEN was founded by a group of teachers in 1990, we knew that educators play key roles in creating affirming learning environments for the LGBTQ youth. But as well as activating supportive educators, we believe in centering and uplifting student-led movements, which have powered initiatives like the Day of Silence, Alley Week, and more. We conduct extensive and original research to inform our evidence-based solutions for K through 12 education. This is kind of all about them, and we'll put a link to all of this, but I wanted to tell you what some of their things that they offer are. So it's students unite in declaring hashtag Black Lives Matters. In this statement, GLSEN's National Student Council condemns police brutality and calls for greater support for Black lives. They also champion LGBTQ issues in K through 12 education, like throughout the school year and otherwise. They believe that every student has the right to a safe, supportive, and LGBTQ inclusive education. They're a national network of educators, students, and local chapters. Our research and experience has shown that there are 4 major ways that schools can cultivate a safe and supportive environment for all their students, regardless of sexual orientation, gender, or identity expression. They have comprehensive policies that are supporting all of this. I want to get to they have an inclusive curriculum. You can donate and make an impact. So for nearly 30 years, GLSEN has been there every step of the way to ensure the rights of LGBTQ youth are protected. They are working on responding to SCOTUS ruling by centering the fight for Black lives, specifically LGBTQ community. They have information about the Supreme Court affirming employment protections for the LGBTQ Americans. You know, that was a big, Black trans lives matter. There's been a lot of hatred. So they're really involved with that. They are very focused right now on the experiences of LGBTQ students of color, because that's an issue in our country at this moment. There are so many different programs. There's Alley Week, No Name Calling Week. There's Day of Silence for Black Lives Matter. There's Changing the Game, which is about students in sports and how they can do all of those things. You can click on any of these things to learn more about them, get involved, join the community, either locally or by a state chapter. So again, that's glsen.org. They have discussion guides that you can go over with either for yourself to learn things or with your children. They have educator guides. That's a great resource. They also have student action resources. So if you're a young person listening to this and want to help out and have not just speak on, we talk about speaking on social media and using your voice, but also action. They have resources for all of that. They even had resources. Now it's kind of past the time, but how to plan and host a virtual graduation. Like, it's amazing that all the activities that they have. They have plenty of discussion guides on everything that they deal with. They seem like an amazing organization. So again, that's glsen.org. And I always think it's so important. We're always trying to promote, inclusivity and the LGBTQ community. Like, nobody's broken. That's who they are, right? So it's kind of sad that we have to go to these lengths to educate people, but totally. I love organizations that are out there for exactly that, because they are making a difference. And I do believe that children and students who have these resources to go to when they're at rock bottom, that's saving lives. I just really believe that in my heart. It's saving lives. So thank you to this organization. Check them out, glsen.org. It's amazing. There's so much. There's things you can do to take action. You can learn more about them, see what they're doing in your local community or in other states, or, across the country, whatever. They're beautiful. Check them out if you can, people.
I'm going to show you really quick because, again, every little thing I can do, because I wish, we always say this, if we had more money, then we would do a lot of things, but you don't have to just be able to give hundreds of dollars to every cause. But I've really been trying to tell myself, like, yep, things are tight as can be, but can I spare $20? Yeah, I'm going to try to spare that when I can. I'm not saying that to shame anyone. There's a lot of things I can't. But recently, there's just been a number of things I'm not going to bring up because I think we'll both start crying again. But I've been donating little bits to things here and there over the last few weeks, including just by supporting Black businesses. I told you that the Pack Theater has been doing that. And we went to another restaurant last week, and that was great. But I want to show you.
And also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you. Please.
Well, I just wanted to say, I'm glad that you brought that up, because there are 4 supports that GLSEN really advocates for, that it's their focus for their programs. And it's about advocacy, research, and policy work. And none of it requires money. Okay. Activating supportive educators who are crucial to creating LGBTQ inclusive classroom environments. That's helping people take action with that, right?
Absolutely.
Advocating for inclusive and affirming curriculum, which not only offers support to the LGBTQ students, but raises the awareness of all students. Okay.
So huge.
Advocating for supportive educators and advocating for inclusive and affirming curriculum. That doesn't cost us anything. That's advocation. No. Okay.
Correct.
Passing and implementing policies to ensure that the LGBTQ students can learn and thrive in safe, inclusive, and accepting schools. Supporting student-led clubs and GSAs, because student leaders are integral to creating community and pushing for change. None of those things cost you money.
No, exactly.
So
I'm serious. Making a video for your dad didn't cost anyone a cent.
No.
So if nothing else,
life-changing for him.
Yes, you can make a video. You can post about stuff on your own social media. You can sign a petition. Doesn't cost you a dime. I've been signing a lot of petitions. I don't do it blindly. I read about it. I make sure it's from a legit thing like change.org or Move On, things like that. But it took me, 30 seconds of my life, 30 seconds to sign things that I believe in. And it did not cost a penny. I needed some new pajamas, Dana, like bad. Okay. I actually treated myself to some new clothes. Pardon?
Good for you. I had to get new too, because Kira came over to my house one day, our nanny and also my beloved friend. And she goes, Dana, what happened? And I looked down, the whole side of my pajamas just disintegrated and were wide open. I was just basically naked in front of her.
That's pretty much the stage I'm at. Okay. So I went to get some new clothes yesterday, and this is how I found out about GLSEN. Lane Bryant, that is where I went to get some new clothing. They have a Pride collection, which I loved that. So I'm like, I'm going to buy one of those just in support of Pride and because it's cute. Well, they had signage above the Pride collection and said a percentage of all proceeds from our Pride collection will go to GLSEN, an organization working for inclusivity of LGBTQ youth. Here's my sweet little shirt that says happy.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. And excuse me, how cute are these little
your
pajama shorts?
Are they shorts or pants?
They're shorts. I mean, I'm not wearing them in public. I would if I wasn't so modest. They're adorable. I just
So
haven't worn a
cute.
pair of shorts in probably 20 years.
You're
And
hilarious.
this is my favorite. It says love is love.
Love is love. Isn't that so true? Yeah.
So again, it was like, hey, I need some new things. I'm going to choose to buy the things that are going to go to this because it was like they couldn't have made it easier. There's a million other pajamas, but I'm like, I'm going to get the pajamas that are going to give proceeds to
Absolutely.
a worthwhile organization. You know what I mean?
I love it. And for any either students or educators out there, just know that this organization offers a variety of resources for students and educators so that you can create change in your community. So if you're wanting to create change in your community and help out this GLSEN, they have so many resources specifically for educators, for students. They have webinars, they have workshops, everything you could possibly imagine. So please check them out.
Totally. It's a great, great cause and very, very important, especially in these current days.
Yes.
Okay, this next rave is something, you guys, I used to love watching the Today Show when I was in high school. I would get up early in the morning to have many cups of coffee before school. And when Jane Pauley and Bryant Gumbel...
High school. You acted like an 85-year-old woman in high school?
I did. I watched The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson every night with my mother, and every morning we watched The Today Show together. I'm not joking. This is long before there was Today Third Hour, and now there's Hoda and Jenna, which I'm even watching, okay? I never watched any of that. Even when I wasn't working in the mornings, I wasn't up or watching that kind of stuff in the morning if I was up, but times have changed. I wake up a lot earlier these days, and Grandma gets her cup of joe and sits and watches the Today Show. Okay. So aside from learning skinny summer treat tips, or today it was how to hang anything anywhere. Okay.
Ooh,
from like
exciting.
Clips for your brick or removable magnets to hang a wreath on your door. Oh yeah. All kinds of stuff. I'm telling you.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Dan Tipton's calling me.
Answer it from your old-timey phone.
Yes, 1 second.
By the way, I'm crying that your cell phone sounds like an old-time rotary phone.
Yes, I love it.
Leslie Jordan is coming out with some ringtones.
I will definitely have one.
Okay, the Today Show, y'all. I'm telling you.
I can't handle
what else are you doing these mornings?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So one of the things I love is they seem to feature every day something. So like I freaked out and I sent Dana something. We posted it on our social media. Dana and I had talked about Medi-Teddies way back, like a year ago on the show. And then now that little girl has kept going with that. And then it showed up on the Today Show. And I was seriously sitting there crying tears of joy. I was like, I can't believe that this has now become something that's getting like national recognition and how wonderful.
Yes.
I love it. So I've been seeing these beautiful things come about on the Today Show, and this was one that really, really captured my heart. No pun intended. I didn't mean to moye that.
Oh, you moyed.
But this is an organization. I'm going to read you two things about it. It's called Heart of Dinner. That's www.heartofdinner.com. Born out of the need to work against stigma and discrimination towards people of Asian descent due to the coronavirus. A young Asian couple makes hot lunches with handwritten notes for the most vulnerable in and around New York's Chinatown, particularly the homebound elderly. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is just kind of kismet and was not planned, but it is Pride Month. We just had GLSEN as a rave, and this couple that I am discussing are two women. They are drop dead gorgeous. They are both Asian, and one is an actor, and they are both one is a professional chef. Heart of Dinner is led by Moonlin Tsai, restaurateur and co-owner of Kopitiam, and Yin Chang, actor and founder of 88 Cups of Tea. Again, these women are cute as can be. I don't remember where they met, but their story is amazing. And they came together because the restaurants for most cities were shut down, and they were like, but what's a way that we can help? So they turned theirs into a relief center, if you will.
That's awesome.
Based on donations. And they usually do food tours, and that's been postponed due to obvious reasons. It says, in the meantime, we've turned Heart of Dinner into a relief efforts hub where we are cooking hot lunchbox donations for those most vulnerable in or near the Chinatown area in New York City, with a heavy focus on the homebound elderly. We are especially reminded of our immigrant grandparents who would have had difficulty asking for help during these times because of language and cultural barriers. We also provide meals for the staff of organizations and who have dedicated their efforts to providing support for the residents and neighbors in densely populated Asian communities like Chinatown. They have also donated to first responders and some other groups as well. So you can check out a bunch of stuff about their website, but I also want to read a little bit of this from Vice. If you're not familiar with Vice News, I can't recommend it enough. They used to be on HBO. They've now moved to Showtime.
Oh, is that true?
You can go to Vice. Oh. You can go to vice.com. It is so eye-opening. The two founders of Vice are from Montreal, and they cover stories around the world that I guarantee you have probably never heard anywhere, or you heard about it and you're like, oh my God, that was I never thought about that again. It's fascinating.
That show. Yeah, it's very educational.
Yes. If you have access to HBO, or some people don't have it, but you may have HBO Go or HBO Now, I'm telling you, go back. There's, I believe, on HBO. Please do yourself a favor and watch those shows when you're looking for something to watch. It is highly eye-opening. There's a particular episode actually on treatments for brain tumors that was the focus of their entire episode, I believe season 3, and it's going to make your head spin. Yeah.
I need to,
because of things that are not funded here. Yeah.
I have a friend who has a brain tumor.
It's it's pretty incredible. So this is from Vice, from writer Shayla Love. Asian seniors in New York City are facing isolation and xenophobia. Heart of Dinner, a new community relief effort, is delivering them hot meals and handwritten notes of love. Now, this really, really got me. Here's a picture of one of the sweet recipients of their food with a letter that is written in, I mean, you know how beautiful all Chinese and Japanese and Korean is. Like it's an art form. Yes. So it's written in Chinese, but also in English. It says, "We love you. We're thinking of you."
Love it.
All handwritten. And they are doing the letters also for people who are isolated to give them some hope and not just a hot meal. And I remember watching them be interviewed, and they said a lot of places, and she said there's nothing wrong with this, but most donations are like a can of tuna, a package of pasta, a can of tomato, because it's shelf stable and it's just whatever. She said to a lot of these people, they don't eat that. It's not even something they're familiar with. And she said, we wanted to not only give them hot, fresh food, but make things that were familiar
to them. Yes.
You know what I mean? And this also came from an increase in racism and xenophobia, as I'm sure most of you have witnessed. Maybe not in person, but know that
we were calling COVID the China disease. Could that be why things got yucky and ugly? Because that's inappropriate to say and not true? Okay, cool.
Right. Well, and this says in February and March, Asian American advocacy groups reported a spike of verbal and physical assaults across the country. In New York specifically, an Asian woman wearing a mask to protect others.
So she was protecting others. Cool.
Physically attacked in a subway station. In Queens, a man yelled and cursed at a Chinese father, then hit him over the head in front of his 10-year-old child.
No.
Yep. And then it says New York City's Commission on Human Rights told the Wall Street Journalist that between February 1st and April 16th, there were 105 reports of anti-Asian incidents compared to just 5 in the same time period last year. While Chang and Tsai,
it's so infuriating and heartbreaking all at the same time. It makes no sense. It's misplaced anger. I just don't understand. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
I totally agree.
Go ahead.
Now, these two ladies who have started this beautiful organization, it says, while Chang and Tsai read about increasing harassment in the news, it happened to them as well. One day while walking down the street, a man rode by on a bike, leaned near to Chang's face and said, "Motherfucker, go back to where you're from."
Unbelievable.
Okay. Not that any of this matters. The woman was raised here. Okay. It's completely irrelevant, but I'm going to go. I'll go on a diatribe about that.
We'll
bullshit.
have a 7-hour episode if we keep
Unless
going.
you're Native American, we're all immigrants.
We're all
give
immigrants.
a shit if your grandparents came here 6 generations ago. Everybody's an immigrant. Okay.
Everybody except the Native Americans.
Exactly. So she says, we couldn't help but think about our grandparents during this time and what would happen if these were our grandparents. They started to call nonprofit organizations that served aging Asian populations in New York and discovered that many of them were struggling with access to food. Heart of Dinner was originally intended to be a food and business tour of Chinatown, but with New York City shut down, they pivoted. The first meal Tsai and Chang made was April 8th, 120 orders of 5-spice tofu, mushroom, Napa cabbage, and goji berries delivered to Hongning Housing for the Elderly in Manhattan. Since then, they've expanded to provide food for CPC's seniors in Brooklyn and Queens, too. This week, they added another house to the roster. Along with hot meals, they donate groceries and dried goods that can last 1 to 2 weeks. The meals are an homage to what Chang and Tsai's grandparents made for them growing up and cooking for them in the Malaysian restaurant Kopitiam, which Tsai co-owns. Another recent meal was a combination of traditional foods. From Tsai's connections in the restaurant community, they've also had others donate foods like soups. When they asked nonprofits how the seniors were doing, they learned outside of a need for meals, people were feeling lonely and isolated. Many of them don't have family here. The aides that take care of them aren't able to go to work anymore because of COVID-19 or might not want to transmit it in case they're asymptomatic. They started handwriting notes on the food container shortly after. When they posted photos of elderly Chinese people receiving their food with handwritten notes, it struck a chord with their Instagram followers. Almost immediately, people were commenting and wanting to contribute their own letters.
I love it.
I know. That again just shows you the power of putting something out there. We've been blown away because the letters are now coming from not even just New York. They're coming from California, Taiwan, other countries, other cities. Tsai said they'd have a goal of receiving 1,600 letters by this week.
That's so cool.
I mean, it's just, it's quite a long article. I'll stop there. But as you can see how cute, they have their stacks of letters.
Oh,
and
so many.
It really is very, very, very heartwarming. And a club that I was in high school was a service club called Kietz. One of our projects was going to a local nursing home in the Atlanta area. And let me tell you something, again, if you knew the power of spending time with people who are alone, and that goes for anyone, but the elderly in particular, and who can be very isolated. They may not have any family alive. They may not have any family in their area. There's so many circumstances that surround it. It lights people up. So for them to receive a special hot meal of something that is comforting to them and a letter with somebody saying you are loved and you are being thought of, that goes so far. It's priceless. It really is just priceless.
I know people think, oh, I don't want to bother somebody with things, or, well, I'm not going to go see them all the time. It won't make that big a difference. That's not true. It makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Even just in my experience, some people said, oh, I didn't want to reach out. I didn't know how you were feeling. And this is just me personally. My experience was I thought it was going to be painful, and I wasn't going to want to hear from a lot of people. But even the people who said, no need to respond, just want you to know I love you. Like, it does make a difference. I felt that love. And there was
Right.
I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to respond. It took no energy from me. All it did was give me love. And I think it's the same with this. Like, these people
Totally.
don't have to know you. They just have to know that you saw a need, that they needed a note, and to know that they were loved. You would be surprised how powerful that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's thinking about you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. Yay.
So
it's
again,
inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
When people are looking for a way or say, oh, I wish I could help. I mean, that's a way you can help. I know year round that there's a number of groups that are looking for letters or care packages to send the military. Like, I know Starbucks has done it, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, which is a West Coast thing, but at least once a year, if not more than that, they have a thing going and they do special packaging, and it's like buy a box of coffee for the troops or things like
And
that.
send it to the troops. Yeah.
I love it. They oftentimes would have a card there that you could sign, like, and say thinking of you or anything you want to say.
It seems stupid. Like, I've done that before, and you're like, Mom, just sending them a bag of coffee. But can you imagine being in the conditions that they are and getting a bag of Starbucks coffee? How wonderful that would be.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or letters. Like, that is the kind of stuff that people can do that helps. Again, that does not, I mean, what does it cost you, a stamp to send it in?
Exactly.
That's less than a cup of coffee. So let's
Beautiful.
spread some love around.
We need it, guys. We need it.
Yep.
Jessica,
Dana,
I think that's our show.
I think it is.
I think we should have said at the top, buckle up, guys. It's going to be a long one. If you would like to get a hold of us, and we encourage that, please give us feedback. We always want to be mindful. Give us information that we don't have and we're asking for. Give us your rants. Give us your raves. Just say hi. We don't care. We want connection right now. We all need that, guys. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at the Rants and Raves podcast. You can email. I haven't done this in so long. You can email us at therantsandravespodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at @raves_the. Is that all the ways you can get us? You can
That's
email
it. And the contact button on our website.
Yep. Our website is www.therantsandravespodcast.com. Anyway, just hit us up. At the end of the show, I usually like to have a weekly point to ponder, something that I'm really enjoying watching. Jessica ruined my life, and now I follow cows. Cows are awesome on Instagram. Oh, God, it's so precious. Oh, it's so precious.
How cute.
Oh, I love it so much. But I didn't really bring anything specific for today. I would like to give a shout out to my very dear friend, Kira. If you need masks, she is making masks. They are wonderful. They are comfortable. They are breathable. You can put filters in them. Mine is a Star Wars one. My dad has Batman. My sister has Harry Potter. She's got all kinds, because these supplies are very limited right now. Everybody's looking for them. If you need a mask, reach out to us. Let us know. She's selling them for $12, which includes shipping. They're worth it.
That's a steal, and they're handmade, and
they're very
her fabrics are amazing. Well, now I have to give props to Dana too. Kira is amazing, and I noticed how cute her masks are. But I also thought, I'm not going to ask her if she's making them, or a lot of people are doing that for themselves, or like people that are family or, close friends. But she posted, and I was like, oh, yes, that's the way I can support somebody that I know and like a whole lot. And we need masks, right? It's not going away anytime soon. So I tried to buy some of her masks, and she informed me that I couldn't. And I said, oh, is it too many, or you don't have the fabric? And then she told me that Dana went ahead and paid for the masks that I tried to order.
Well,
which is so lovely and so generous. And I am not saying this to toot my own horn. I'm saying this so nobody thinks I'm a creep and that I was just like, oh, cool, I don't have to pay for that. I really was freaking out. I'm like, that is overwhelming, but no, please, I want to pay you for it and I want to support you. And she said, really? Sorry, it's already taken care of. And I said, okay, well, I saw that you mentioned that you were giving some of the proceeds to a friend that has cancer.
Exactly.
So I'm going to Venmo you right now now. And I guess you have to give that money to your friend and you can't say no to that. And she said, well, shit, you got me there.
Oh, Jessica, you didn't have to do that. That's very kind. That is another thing I wanted to say. She is donating the proceeds. Listen, Kira is lovely and a wonderful human being.
Yes.
She needs to make money. You know, I am her only source of income. She's my nanny, and we're not in school right now. And in fact, soon my son won't even be there. But we are keeping her as employed as we can through all of this. And that is because she is an amazing human who needs to support herself and her boyfriend and his family. Like, they're a united household, but it's tough times right now. And still, she's giving the proceeds of all of this hard work she's doing to help save lives to a friend battling cancer. And that just speaks, it's indicative of her heart and who she is as a human. They're excellent masks. If you are in need, reach out. You can find her on Instagram.
They're so cute.
They're so cute. At Lyrically Inclined, we'll put this information in all of our show notes and everything. If you're in need, let us know. And then finally, what I would like to say, and I'm going to cry again. I'm so sorry. I think I speak for Jessica and I both when we're saying that we would love to send out some love and some appreciation for a friend that we lost this week. The day before my dad's surgery, Jessica and I found out that we lost a very dear friend who was a precious, precious soul unexpectedly. His name was Tilt Tyree, and he brought so much joy and happiness to anyone who ever was around him or saw him. That man built me up and told me how amazing I was from the day I met him, and I loved him dearly, and I always will. And I want to shout out our community for raising, at this point, I think it's about $20,000 for his family within just a few days to help pay for the expensive and funeral. And we just want to say, wherever you are, Tilt, we love you so much. And the comedy world really got a bit sadder by losing that precious man. So we love you, Tilt. Thank you to our comedy community for really stepping up and supporting his family in a time that's just insane and an unexpected loss. So we're all going through a lot these days. So I guess what I want to end with is, Jessica, I wish I could hug you. If you guys are quarantined with your family, hug your loved ones. If you're away from them, call your friends, do a Zoom, whether you've brushed your teeth or your hair or not, and tell people you love them, because this life is short and it's precious. So we love you guys. Thanks for sticking with us through these uncertain times. I know our recording schedule's been off and I apologize, but we love you guys. We want to put goodness into the world, and we'll be back next week. Jessica, I love you.
Yeah. Big love to you, and big love to Dana's dad, who is continuing to be the strong champion and fighter that he is. And everybody, seriously, keep him going in your thoughts and your prayers. It's unbelievable.
Thanks, Jessica. We're sure lucky. We have a lot of wonderful people in our lives.
Thank you.
And we do. We really, really do. And that we're talking to every single one of you that are listening to us right now. All of our pod squad, Take Me to Coffee, Spark My Interest. I mean, everybody, every person that listens to us, we just love you. And we'll be back next week.
We do. Everybody be safe.
Be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.